Okay, hello everyone, welcome back to another week. Starting it off with a lovely view. Looking back here on the far side of the hills, you're looking back the Dingle Peninsula back into camp. Way back over that sandbar there is where you would have seen us baling. Mowing and baling there at the start of the year, the video that gets all the views. I know I give a description of the landscape a lot, but it helps. I suppose a lot of people ask where are you based and all that, so it gives you a big insight into it. Straight below us there brings it back to Feenet, and there's the town of Tralee right in front of us, and back over where the wind turbines are in the very background is back where we are based. Well, hello and good morning. Some morning, savage, very warm. I'd say it's well over 20 degrees anyway. It's very warm. Air conditioning is on full belt at the moment, but yeah, it is very warm. This is our hay. Well, it's not our hay, but it's one of the jobs we are doing, hay jobs we're doing at the minute, and it's one of the, well, I suppose it's probably the only one that you have seen the full progress of, and I've spoke about a bit because while we'll show most of them or some of them, it's always interesting to follow one from the very start to the end product. That's kind of a theme we do in the videos. We just start at the start of a job and kind of work our way through it. But as you can see, it's very good, and I would say tomorrow this should be fit to bale. There isn't much greenness coming up through it anymore. It's nice and dry. Still a bit green, but you want a bit of green in here. Ideally you don't want wet green, you just want greenness, and as you can see there is a nice green tinge on it. So maybe it'll get kicked out again later on. If the day stays like this, there's a lovely breeze and it's very warm, it'll probably get a turn again later on. But someone will give a look at it later on, either myself or the father or the customer. So I'm just going to clean a bit of stuff off of here, because for some reason in certain types of grass it wraps stuff around one or two of the rotors. I don't really know why it does it, but like I said, just only certain grass it'll do it. So I'll pull this bit of stuff off and give her a bit of a clean off. I don't have any more tedding to do today, or for the moment rather. I'm going to go and mow a bit of grass now, and probably swap this 2 or 3 paddocks in the dairy farm, and a small bit for a beef farmer as well. So yeah, I'll stay motoring and we'll update you along the way. Hello and very welcome back to another day. Wrapping these ones with pink and black plastic because these are paddocks that are gotten too strong, and just he wants to know the difference between his paddocks and his silage ground, so that's why they've been wrapped in 2 different colours. I suppose I didn't film. Well, last night I left the camera in the tractor and tether, and this morning there was a pile of running and racing and preparing and getting stuff ready, so I was at a bit of everything, and I wasn't really sitting down ready to be talking, if that makes any sense. So we just have this silage job, and after this we're going baling hay, and that is the hay that we will have watched all the progress of. You will have just have missed the raking, but basically we turned it again yesterday evening, and it was rowed there about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, and later on we'll bale that up. We have another small hay job very close to it that's been rowed in with a hay bob, and then tomorrow or possibly Thursday we've one relatively big one. I'd imagine there'll be 100 and 200 bales I suppose in it, and then we have another one this evening, but again only 30 or 40 bales, and our neighbour has a good bit of hay cut as well. I don't actually know quite how much he's cut. He has a bit cut, but I know he has more to cut, so whether he'll cut it all in the one go or not, I'm not quite sure. So we'll know in the next day or two anyway. Sometimes it is hard to keep track of all these things, but we just write them on we have a whiteboard at home, and anyone that basically rings about anything gets wrote down on the board, because it's very easy to forget, especially when you're dealing with multiple people. It's very easy to forget who rang about doing what, and all that side of things. So as well as all of that, way as always, we have a good bit of spraying that needs to be done. So maybe tomorrow morning we might get stuck into a bit of that. Some ground that was reseeded earlier on in the year needs to be sprayed for weeds and stuff like that. Okay, so we have this one finished now. Our 2 fields are done, and we had nearly 120 bales, so good enough old return out of the 2 fields. This man is down a bit of silage ground this year, so he's maximising what he can. But anyway, what we're off to do now is we're going away to bale that hay. Well, there we are. Here we are in the hay field. We have to change our density in the baler, which we'll give a look at that there now. It's a space. I don't think it's the best setup in the world, to be honest with you. I'll show you there once we get around to the other side. It's look, welders, or not welders. It was I thought it was a far simpler setup. Right, so in here you have the filler. You must pull out this handle for hay and straw. Basically what it's doing is the gap between your sensor and where the plate or sensor is reading off of, you're widening that gap so your door is opening a lesser amount to set off. You know, once that stops reading, that's how Baler knows it is a full chamber. And this is your relief valve. Normally when you're baling silage, you've that screwed into the max, and when you get to 210 bar, it automatically relieves. You cannot go further than 210 bar basically. Even though your gauge will go down there, once you get to 210 bar, that is going to open your door a bit regardless of anything. So we're aiming for our chamber to be full somewhere around here, and we'll see what the bale is like after that. In the bigger strokes, obviously by the time you stop there is more crop gone in, so we'll probably be screwing our density back a nice bit to get it set to there. But look, you're in a welder, you're the chart from 1 to 10 inside in the clock, and the bar filled the more, so it was just easier. And to be fair, it was more accurate. I mean, what we're doing here is normally that's all dusty, and I put a mark down through it like that, so you know how much you've a turn back. So that's half a turn, as 1 full turn, and we might go maybe another quarter and see what that's like. So maybe that's too much. It's been a year since I've baled hay, so I honestly can't remember. But we'll see how this goes. So I'll fold out my wheels. We'll open our door, then close it again, and our chamber will be then set to the pressure we're after setting that to. We'll make 2 bales because there's no point making 1, and we'll see what they're like. So I think there is slightly too much stuff in these. They are a bit heavy, and you can't really get your fingers into them, so there is a bit too much in them, so we're going to slacken off another small bit. So here we are baling the hay. It's in cracking order, and there's a very, very good crop in it too. So far we have 72 bales. I can't exactly remember how many acres are here, but I know I will have said it in the last video. I think somewhere around 8 or 9, so we'll probably have another 30-40 bales. But that's lovely stuff, beautiful. So we're delighted with that. It's also a job done. You know, you don't want too many hay jobs on the one day, because hay is a very finicky crop to be baling. You can't go at it in the morning, or you can't go at it too late at night. So you don't want a desperate amount of hay to be baling all in the one day. But you do make good progress at it, to be fair. You know, you can really pump out big numbers in a short space of time. I don't drive on too hard at it because you just tend to get nicked inside in the middle of the bales. Then, you know, by the time you're stopped, there's already a good shot of nick gone on the bale, and just leads to issues like that. Bale stopping, turning in the chamber, and all the kind of miss. So while I do push on a bit, I don't be racing around the field at the same time. But as you can see, the bales are very, very nice. They're well shaped. We've made 2 or 3 adjustments afterwards just to try and get our density perfect. We don't want too much hay in them, and we don't want too little hay in them at the same time. So you just kind of want a nice bale that'll hold its shape for being transported and all of that. So this was a success, really. You will have been documented from the beginning to the end. We have no more to do here. This farmer is moving them himself and he's stacking them himself. So basically, once I'm out the gate here, that is the end of this. But I hope you've enjoyed definitely that much of the process. You've seen the whole lot going on. You've seen it being cut, you've seen it being turned. We've talked about it and we've looked at it, and here is the end result. So yeah, I'll keep pumping them out. I have more hay to do after this, and sure, we'll update you and let you know how our evening is going. Okay, so it's quite windy, so I'll just stand in out of the breeze. But yeah, that was our job complete. 104 bales we had, so lovely crop and lovely conditions, and it's just nice. Like I said at the start, it's nice to do a bit of hay. It's something different, and it's really easy work with. So yeah, on to the next one now, which unfortunately is rode in with a hay bob, but so what can we do? That's all part of it, but it definitely will be a bit slower. So yeah, so this stuff was rode in with a hay bob, and we do this job every year, and there's always between 50 and 60 bales in this field, and for some reason he doesn't have anything near that this year. So look, this is only a hobby to him. It doesn't really matter. He sells them, but like that, it really doesn't matter to him how many he has. But it just brings the point that if for instance he was making 500 a year and his yield was cut down by this much, that's some income to lose. Or a tillage farmer selling 500 ton of grain down to 250 ton of grain. That's crazy, like, and it does happen. Weather and all various different things. Now luckily this year crops are heavy everywhere, and just for whatever reason he didn't have a good crop here. But like I say, it can have a huge burden on people, even the likes of us. If we were to make 20,000 bales and we were half down to that, we were down to 10. You know, I know that's not what we're making, but even what we're making now, if that was to be halved, it'd be some loss to anyone involved in any aspect of farming. If cattle were making €1,000 a piece and fell to 500, it's just it affects the bottom line massively. So it's very difficult, I suppose, on people, and it is the reality of farming that some years it can be perfect, but usually the years it's good, you have big expenses, and the years it's bad, then well, you actually can't have big expenses. But you know, good years, like this year, it will be a good year for bale numbers, but diesel is very high, and parts are dear, and oil and all that is very high, and as high as we've seen it in a number of years. But last year then, diesel was very cheap. There was plenty of labour around because everybody was off over COVID, and stuff was cheap, but the yields weren't there, so basically you ended up making the same amount, if not less money. So it's just yields are the bottom line on everything. They affect everyone, and this is just a small example of it, but like that, broadly across agriculture, The yield makes all the difference to whether you're making money or not. Okay, so hello and good morning. We are here doing a bit of haylage. Fair crop in this. Last year we had 92 bales, and so far we have 76, 77. So we won't be far off of what we already had. CVX and the trailer is just turning in there now, and the Massey is here putting them in bunches. We didn't know whether we'd be able to come on straight away and draw them, so that's kind of why we put them in bunches, because funnily enough the crows won't go near them when they're in bunches. For some weird reason, I don't know why, but they won't touch them when they're in groups like that. So that's a handy tip for you. But after this I'll probably go and do a bit of spraying, because I have a lot of spraying to catch up on, and I was supposed to be going baling hay, but looking at that, probably hang tough and see what the day brings. So it'll be a few hours anyway, and I don't have another baling job after this. I did, but like I say, we do have to hang tough and see what the day will bring. So I'll get this one wrapped up, and we'll talk to you very soon once we started another job. So I'm here baling an astronomical crop of hay. It's absolutely crazy. We've 14, 15 bales made already, and 10-acre field maybe, and we're not halfway around the first round of it yet. That is a crazy crop, and it's perfect. It's absolutely smashing hay altogether. It's as good as you'd see. I know it's a bit lighter above here. This is just a bit that was kind of topped, and it's just a bit saved as well, so it's all going in. But you'll see now literally how far I'm going for a bale. That's it. And they're well, like, I won't say we're packing them, but they're good tight bales of hay, like, so that is crazy stuff. So I'd be expecting we'll have over 200 in it. I might be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking anyway. But yeah, once I get this out of it, I'll give you an update there when we're in the middle of it. Some of the rows are a bit more tame than others, but as we go over, it does get heavier. It did have a job to row it in, because literally the crop was just too high. Even the back bar on the Pottinger rake is very high compared to some other makes, and it was hitting the bar at the back of the rake, so that'll tell you what kind of a row is there. Huge crop, but it's easy bale it. It's I've plastics tied on underneath the baler to help the crop flow underneath the hitch and stuff like that, so it is relatively easy bale it, to be fair. Hay in this part of the world isn't a huge crop. I suppose maybe we might do 1,000 a year. That'd be about the outside of it, but I know in some parts of the country there is bigger amounts of hay made, crazy amounts of hay made into the Midlands, up around Kildare, up around that country. Crazy amounts of hay, and down around certain parts of Cork as well. They're big into their hay, and big strakes of ground too. Like, you know, they're not making it in 2 or 3 acre fields. It's 30 or 40 acre fields. So huge volumes of crop, and to be honest, I'd like to be at more of it. Would say I'm not like I'd be actively pursuing it, but it'd be nice to be doing big quantities of it, because to be fair, it is easy bale, it's fast bale, it's easier on a machine, and you're burning a lot less diesel, so it's probably more cost effective way for us to make money. Baling hay, you probably have more out of it. Sat down and done the figures of it. You probably have more out of this than you would out of baling silage when everything is said and done, if you could do enough of it. So I should motor away through it, and so I'll give you an update when we're nearly there, when we're getting finished. I suppose we've about a third, or maybe a bit over a third of across the field work. So yeah, once we're nearly finished, I'll give you an update. And there you have it, nearly finished. Just picking up my last stroke. Once I was finished with the rake, I done every second stroke and worked my way back in. So here we are. Just slightly over an hour and a half here, and 170 we will have. Yeah, we'll have 170. So fair tipping, and as you can see, I'm not driving really fast, but I have the crop, and we're just able to really get the numbers out. So yeah, I have another small bit of hay to do, and I've other various things to do this evening. So we'll get them wrapped up and we'll get finished up, and tomorrow is another day. Okay, so the field you would have seen as discarrowing has now been seeded. He's just starting up at the top and working his way down, and the farmer is here rolling it. It's just after being limed, and I'm next door baling, so I just said I'd give a walk in and give you an update. Might come back one of the days and give a look, but nice and powdery, and seems a nice job, to be fair. So yeah, I'll just get motoring because I have a good bit of baling to do, and we'll chat to you soon. Okay, so I'm on my last stop for the evening, and very light, and it's almost hay, but I don't think it'll quite make hay, so we're wrapping it. And tomorrow is nobody knows what tomorrow is going to do yet, to be fair, so we'll just have to see. It's saying it should be okay, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we have a small bit of hay to do tomorrow and a small bit of silage, but the whole lot won't amount to 200 bales, so there shouldn't be this one amount of pressure on us tomorrow. After that, we were, as you've seen, a tiny bit of, we were doing a reseeding, but the last few days I've really had to pay attention to cleaning the baler. Because it's been so warm, and we've had hay and kind of very dry grass, and that stuff just sits in all nooks and crannies. Now these aren't as bad, and I've already said that, but these aren't near as bad as what was there before for all the stuff, but still you need to be very careful, especially around the brake drums and things like that. It just builds up in places. To be fair, they put a shield over the top of the rim, so nothing could go in and sit on top of the brake drum, but it still sits on top of the axle, even though it's not directly above the brake drum. I just don't like stuff building up there, so I climbs in and gives it a clean off. But like that, it's just a bit of daily maintenance really, and it gives you a chance to see if there's anything else funny going on. So I suppose for next week we have an awful lot of topping to do. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get a good shot of rain, because land does need it now. Growth is starting to get a bit restricted, and we need growth to get the second cuts growing so we can make plenty more bales. But first cuts are very nearly over now at this stage, but still a few to do, not a whole pile, so year and long moving on either. But I see even some of the stuff we've done a couple of weeks ago starting to get fairly green now, so and if it got rain now, I suppose it would be hitting it at the perfect time. So I suppose maybe tomorrow I might film a bit, but if not, we might leave it at this. But we'll do a bit of a wind down tomorrow anyway and fill you in under what happens. Okay, so it's early Friday morning, and I'm off to do a bit of topping with butterflies. Now you'll be saying to yourselves, this fella's mad in the head. The topping doesn't have to be done now, but I don't want to be out with the mowers in the rain. I've avoided being out with them in the rain so far this year, so I'm going to keep that up, and I'll get this job done before the rain. It won't take me long when obviously when you're topping, but this size of a machine, it won't take long. Another reason behind it is we have a topper. Obviously we have our mulcher, but our mulcher isn't the best thing for topping very light grass, so we have a topper, but we burst the gearbox in it a couple of years ago, and that'll be resurrected in the coming week. I'm after sourcing the gearbox and basically just waiting to get it. So we do have a lot of tapping to do, but this one I'll get it done because it's probably about the most substantial one that has to be done over the next week. And like I say, I just don't want to get the motors wet. So while I'm waiting for it to clear up a small bit, and it's very early, I'll go away and get this job done. And it's another thing knocked off of our list. So yeah, we'll talk to you later. So we're here in the midst of all of it, but these jobs need to be done too. Doing a bit of spraying. I have two very jobs close together here to spray, because this field would have been reseeded. You will have seen it being reseeded. Funnily enough, it was the last time our CVX 130 was with us, was when we were in this field. It actually sold while we were at this job, but this has been obviously reseeded. Nice grass coming on it, but as you can see, an awful lot of docks. So that's very, very common. A few other various weeds coming up in it, but we're here with the spray. We have enough of it to do the whole field, but there's some lovely grass coming in it too. But it does need rain. It is starting to crack quite badly, and thankfully there is rain coming, but you don't want to go spraying when there's no rain forecast, because it could end up really scorching this grass. So tomorrow evening we're supposed to get some rain, but looking at the sky and the slip and fan belt, it doesn't even look that far away. So I'm going to get this one done. I have another, like I say, I have another local one to do, and back on the baler after that. So I'm right up next to home, and as you can see, the sky is just turning. I hope we'll get out there. We are getting the odd speed, but nothing serious so far. If we could just get another half an hour, I'd nearly be out of here, because I am hammering it on. But I'll just say a prayer. Unfortunately, I have a net change, which it does take a small bit of time. It doesn't take long, but it still delays the thing. That'll be coming up there in about 10 bales. But I'm basically shoving her on as hard as she'll take it here, or as hard as I can stay in the tractor really. But look, we should get it done. Looking at the sky, I'd say we'll hold off, but it could piss at the same time, so hopefully it doesn't. But anyway, without delaying too much, I'll stay over. Well, I think you could call that luck, or I don't know what you call it, but just got there. This ground will be very coarse, and it would be very, very wet as well. So it's kind of just suitable for hay, I suppose, and accessible at this time of the year for baling. But luckily enough, we're just after getting it done. So I'll head down home and pull everything into the shed before it starts making a downpour, and relax myself for the weekend. So yeah, thanks very much anyone who's been watching, and we'll chat to you later.